Everyone. We're just going to give you a few moments here as we wait for all the attendees to join us. So in the meantime, let me share some exciting resources and features we offer here at RM COCO. First, I always encourage everyone to visit our website. You can go to www.rmcoco.com and you will find a wealth of tools and information to support you with any of your design projects. Also, I would encourage you to explore our configurators. We have drapery configurators to help you with our drapery panel program and our full custom. Also on our website, you can discover our hardware collections, which we have 7 distinct hardware offerings: Finial Company, Paris, Texas, Coco Deco, Canadian Drapery Hardware, which is a new introduction, Forest Drapery, Aria, and Fenestra. So check that out on our website. Also, you can see order fabrics, you can order trims, you can get quotes, you can order memo samples, cutting for approvals. Also, you can stay connected with us through our social media platform. So check us out there for any kind of inspirations. So again, we're going to wait here just a few minutes as we have more people join us for the webinar today. Also, I will mention we will have a special incentive for everyone if you stay to the end of the webinar. I'll mention that again, but see it all the way through. There could be a item that you can win, so stick to the end. We also look forward to sharing some exciting information today with you on ColorWorks by RM COCO. This is just one of several webinars that we will be doing. Our next webinar is scheduled for Friday, September 6th, if nothing changes. So make sure that you check us out for that webinar as well. Okay, looks like we're approaching almost 1 o'clock. We want to stay on time. We know that you're very busy. Your time is valuable. So let's go ahead and get started. So good afternoon. My name is Heath Watson, and we're excited to have you join us today for our webinar on ColorWorks, our digital printing program. Before we get into the fun stuff, let's go over a few housekeeping items, which is always important. Everyone is muted and the cameras are off, so feel free to relax today. We absolutely love interaction, so pop your questions into the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen, and we'll do our best to answer them at the conclusion of today's webinar. Also, I'd like to introduce you to our awesome speakers. Today, I'm sorry, let me say that I am your moderator. I've already said that, excuse me. And I will moderate any questions. I will do the wrap up at the end. And joining me today is Mark Knight, our Director of Design, who will give you a 40,000-foot view of the ColorWorks program. And Wendy Rowe, our Surface Design Manager, will dive into the more specifics of the ColorWorks program. And as I mentioned, if you will stick around to the end of the webinar, we will have a fun giveaway. So we will give away 3 of our ColorWorks palettes by answering a trivia question. So stick around. And my guarantee is by the end of today's webinar, I believe that you will have the information that you will need to begin using the ColorWorks program. It is my hope today that you will see it is not a complicated program. It's a very easy program to use, and it's something that everybody should be trying to incorporate into their design business. So let's get on with the webinar today, and I'm going to turn it over to Mark Knight. Mark?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our ColorWorks webinar. Now, we know that you have pressing schedules, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. So I'm going to give you the 40,000-foot overview of ColorWorks program, and then Wendy will give you an overview of working with ombre and mural designs. We will then open the floor for specific questions we may not have answered during the presentation. So since launching our ColorWorks print program, some preconceived myths about the program have developed, and I hope to dispel some of those for you today. The first myth was that the program must just be too hard to use. The ColorWorks program actually is very intuitive to navigate. You can order any of the patterns and colors in our design library just as you would any other print in our line. You may change the base fabric with a mouse click, and you may upload your own pattern and color right to our website. And if you need help, Wendy is available to assist you with any of your needs every day of the week. Now, myth number 2 was, well, it must take too long. It's custom. Well, in fact, we print strike-offs and production yardage weekly. Normally, your order will be printed within a 7 to 10 day working time frame. And finally, it was thought, well, it's custom, it must be expensive. Well, that's not necessarily true either. ColorWorks prints are actually very reasonable, with wholesale prices ranging from $29.95 for organic cotton sateen to $79.95 for 100% silk, and our wallpapers are $34.95 per yard. And all of these come with just a 1 yard print minimum. So the next thing that we heard was some frustrations that designers have. When we asked frustration that customers regarding fabric orders, there were 5 pain points that were mentioned the most frequent. At the top of the list was discontinued fabrics. While the supply chain has improved since the height of COVID, shipping delays and mill closures are still not back to normal. Patterns can move from active to discontinued really overnight. With ColorWorks, our digital files are archived, so a pattern in the library will always be available to you. The second most listed frustration is long back orders. Most fabrics are produced outside of the United States. Production time can be up to 12 weeks, and that's just to produce the fabric. Freight by ocean is really the most used shipping method and adds an additional 4 to 6 weeks in most cases. You can speed the process up with air freight. It only takes 7 to 10 days for shipping, but today it adds about $10 per yard to the final cost of the fabric. Customers also told us that sometimes it is hard to find the right pattern for a project. With ColorWorks, a custom pattern can be designed for a specific project by Wendy, or a customer may upload their own desired pattern right to the website to be printed. Sometimes the correct pattern can be found, but it's not printed on the desired base fabric. With ColorWorks, you may print any pattern from our design archive or your own custom design on any of our 15 base fabrics or our wallpaper substrate. Finally, not being able to find a fabric with the desired colorway needed for a project. Any of the patterns in our ColorWorks design library or a custom design pattern can be recolored to match the color scheme needed for your job. So, what really is ColorWorks? Well, ColorWorks is a to-the-trade digital print-on-demand surface that allows you to add colorful designs in an array of fabrics using direct digital printing process, as well as a wallpaper substrate. There are benefits. There are so many benefits to ColorWorks program. Here are just some of the important ones. Quick print turnaround means no more waiting around for back orders that seem long. ColorWorks allows you to print your perfect design and colorway for just a 1 yard minimum. We print your design at high resolution for unsurpassed detail, and we offer color palettes with over 2,600 color shades from which to choose to print your perfect design. Received your print orders in just 7 to 10 business days. And you can take complete control of your creativity with ColorWorks, whether it is a recoloring or rescaling one of our patterns or recreating a unique one-of-a-kind designs of your own. ColorWorks products are produced in our own print plant in the United States for quality that you can trust. Finally, no ColorWorks pattern or color will ever be discontinued. We promise. So, how does ColorWorks program work? There are 4 easy options. Choose an existing ColorWorks pattern and colorway, print it on the master base cloth, or choose any of our base fabrics or wallpaper substrate that you wish to use. You may also use an existing pattern and custom color or rescale the design to suit your needs. You have also introduced a ColorWorks digital library, which offers even more designs that can be custom colored and scaled for your special project. You can become your own print designer by uploading a custom design to print or fabric or wallpaper. Still need help? We're always available to assist. ColorWorks prints may also have any of our textile finishing services applied to them after printing for an additional charge. Treatments range from green shield to add a performance finish, NFPA 701 for drapery, or NFPA 260 for upholstery, just to name a few. So how do I choose colors for my design? You will need a ColorWorks color palette. Each of our base fabrics, as well as our wallpaper, have their own unique color palettes. Each contains over 2,600 colors from which to choose. Underneath each color box is a combination of letters and numbers. This is the hex code. Our print machine uses the hex code in order to formulate each color used to print a pattern. The price of the pallet is the cost of 1 yard of the base fabric or wallpaper that you select to purchase. For example, if you plan to print on organic cotton sateen, the price for that pallet is $29.95. If you print on silk, the price for the silk pallet is $79.95. Or if you print on wallpaper, the pallet is $34.95. Now, we suggest for any color, design, base fabric changes that you order a 1 yard approval sample, as computer monitors vary greatly, and you cannot be assured what you see on the screen is exactly what will print on fabric or wallpaper. You also cannot assume that a color printer will accurately depict how you will see the final colors on fabric or wallpaper. Custom fabric cannot be returned, so it is always best to obtain an approval sample before placing your final order. Now, each palette contains the same color assortment. However, it is strongly suggested that you select colors from a color palette printed on the ground you plan to use for your final order. Here is why this is so important. Each of these fabrics have been printed using the exact same colors, but each one is printed on a different base fabric. As you can see, even with the same color formulations, each ground takes color differently. The only way to really know how a color will print on the base fabric you plan to use is to select colors from a color palette printed on that ground. You will also want to order a base fabric deck. This deck includes all of our base fabrics for the ColorWorks program, as well as a sample of our wallpaper ground. It's all included in the deck and is available for just $16.95. Want to print your own artwork? Our website will quickly help you do this in 3 easy steps. You must confirm that you own the copyright or have written permission from the copyright holder to print your design. For more information about ColorWorks program or to order memos, a base deck, which also includes the sample of the wallpaper ground, or color palettes, visit our website and click on the tab at the top of the page marked Custom Printed Fabric and Wallpaper. An overview of the entire ColorWorks program, along with the most frequently asked questions, can be found under this tab. If you select View All Patterns, you will see the most current ColorWorks design library. Click on a specific pattern, and you may order a memo for any of the patterns or colorways that pattern comes in. Memos are printed on a master base fabric for each design. Your memo will be printed on that master ground. If you want to print on a different ground, you would simply order a 1 yard strike off of the ground that you would like to see. So now that you have that 40,000-foot tour of RM COCO's ColorWorks program, I will turn the presentation over to Wendy for today's special topic. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about murals and ombres. So, talking about ombres. An ombre is a pattern that is made up of a selection of colors that fade into one another. Creating an ombre panel is not as complicated as most people might think. You just need to select one or more colors from our ColorWorks color palette and provide me with the hex number code for each of your color selections. What is a hex code? Hex codes are a 6-digit combination of letters A through F and digits 0 through 9 used to identify a specific color. By providing the exact color code from our color palette printed on the ground you will be printing your project on, you can be assured you will match your desired color in the final design. However, selecting the same hex number from a palette printed on a different base will give you a very different result, as all base fabrics take the inks differently, as we saw on the previous slides. Now let's talk about how to start the ombre ordering process. First, you will need to have a ColorWorks base fabric deck and a color palette. It's highly recommended that you print your color palette on the base fabric you will be printing on for accurate color selection. Once you have your palette and have selected your colors, you can email those to me along with your base fabric choice and desired window panel measurements, and I will write up the quote custom design order form for your custom ombre. I cannot start a project until I have a signed order form returned to me via email at colorworks@rmcoco.com or at wendyr@rmcoco.com. The cost of a custom ombre design is going to depend on the number of color selections, dimensions, and the base fabric. The simplest ombre is a single color blended out to the color of the raw base fabric. The minimum design fee being 1 hour or $80. If you choose to create a design with several colors, 4 or more, and specific blend ratios, like a third, this color, a fourth, this color, getting very detailed on me, the design fee is going to go up to 2 hours. The base fabrics range in price from $29.95 to $79.95 per printed yard. Once I have built your panel design, I will send you a digital proof for approval of the full panel. I will also include a digital proof of the condensed 1 yard strike-off version, so you will see how the sample yard will print for color approval. If I need to make any changes to the design, you have up to 2 edits included in your quote before going to print. If there are no changes and you get final approval on the digital proof, I will send the strike-off sample to the print room. If you'll be using our workroom, you will need to contact Custom Creations at rmcoco.com to obtain a drapery quote for your desired window treatment. I'll communicate with the workroom to add the additional hem and header length to the final file they need for fabrication, and then the workroom will quote for labor only, as you're going to need to return to me to order your ColorWorks fabric as a COM fabric that will be shipped directly to our workroom. I'm also going to need a copy of your workroom quote at the time of your yardage order. And it's important to note that the workroom can't give you a delivery date until they have the custom printed fabric in hand. Once you receive your strike-off sample, you can choose to make changes for a small additional design fee of $20, which covers my additional time to modify the file. Or if you're happy with the sample, you can then order the required yardage for your drapery project. I will type up a new design order form with the total yardage for your approval. Once you return a signed copy of this form to me, I can submit the order for printing. Your order will ship from the ship room directly to the workroom for fabrication. At this point, the workroom can simply supply you with the delivery date. Now let's talk about murals. Murals are big, and they will create even bigger files. We can't take one of our small patterns and blow it up to fit on an entire wall, but we can step them out as wallpaper enlarged within limits. Murals are kind of their own animal. To print big, the file either needs to be scaled big if it's a raster file like Photoshop or Procreate from an iPad, or it needs to be created as a vector file such as Illustrator or similar type program, where the image can be freely scaled up or down without quality loss. If you're wanting to submit a print-ready file for us to print, it will need to meet the following criteria. A finished design that you own the copyright to or have written permission from the copyright holder to use that meets the following specs. The file format needs to be JPEG, PNG, PDF, or PSD that is scaled to the final project size, or if it's an AI file in vector format, it can be any size because, like I said, that can be scaled up and down without quality loss. The color profile is preferred to be Adobe RGB 1998, resolution at least 300 dpi. For file transfer, since they are going to be large files, you're probably not going to be able to upload them on the website, and they're probably not going to come across email either. So you're going to need to probably use a file transfer option like WeTransfer, Dropbox, Google, etc. And you can send those to the ColorWorks at rmcoco.com email. Need help creating a custom mural? How to place custom mural, ColorWorks mural orders. If you don't already have one, you can order a ColorWorks color palette printed on our wallpaper base. You will need this to select all of your colors for your design before I begin. In order to write up a design quote, you'll need to make sure you have a clear idea of what you're wanting for a design. Include as much detail, inspiration photos, notes on likes, dislikes, etc. as you can. The more details you can provide upfront, the less edits I will need during the design process. Once the design form is signed and returned to me, the design process has officially started. If you've not already done so, you'll need to select your hex numbers from your color palette for the colors you would like used in your design. Once you have selected those, you can email them to me. And then at this stage, I will become your primary contact throughout the design process. Your sales rep will be copied via email at the strike off and order stages of the design process. And any updates you'd like to share outside of this are up to you. You'll be provided with digital proofs of your design. The digital proof is where you finalize the design layout and scale. You have 2 edits before going to print in your initial quote. Any edit made beyond that will incur additional design fees. An edit equals 15 minutes of consultation and 15 minutes of design time. Anything greater than this will incur additional fees. Once a digital proof receives final approval, the strike-off sample is submitted to print for color approval. Print orders usually take 7 to 10 business days to complete after submission, depending on the day of submission and current print schedule. Once you receive your strike-off, if the color meets your approval, you will contact me again to create your full yardage order. If you need to make additional edits, you will let me know, and we can move through the design steps again to modify the design to your specifications. And that is the process. So now we can open it up to questions.
All right, if you have any questions regarding murals or ombres, now is the time to input that question down at the bottom of the screen in the Q&A box. And we will do our best to answer those questions for you. So we'll see what we have coming in here. Okay, so one question that we have, it seems to be a frequent question, is there any special effects or finishes such as metallic inks or texture services that can be used in the printing process for ColorWorks, Mark or Wendy?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is there any, what are some challenges? Is there any challenges at all when it comes to doing ombres on the website? Is it pretty intuitive?
Ombres are custom, so you have to come through me to do an ombre.
Okay. And then how many, and this may have been mentioned in the presentation, how many remakes do they get when they are working on?
There's 2 edits included in every design quote.
Okay. All right. I don't see any more questions. Mark, is there anything that you would like to add as far as murals or ombres are concerned? Or Wendy, anything else that you've experienced in working with clients with ombres or murals? Any challenges that they may face?
The biggest thing when it comes with any custom design, like I was saying with the murals, is when you want to create something completely original, is to give me as much information all up front as you can. So because that'll help avoid edits along, down the road, if we can try and get it all the ducks in a row up front. And then we're on the same page moving forward from the beginning.
One of the benefits to our wallpaper is we sell it by the yard, which is different than most wallpaper
Yeah.
manufacturers. There's not a single, double, triple roll that you have to calculate and have extra yardage. We sell by the yard, so you can calculate right down to the final yard that you need with very little waste left over.
Is our wallpaper trimmed or untrimmed, Mark?
It is untrimmed. It trims to 27, but it does come untrimmed for 2 reasons. One, it prevents dinging in shipments. If you have trimmed wallpaper and it gets dinged on the end in its shipment, it's very hard to get that ding to not show once you apply it. So you do have to trim our wallpaper, but it does trim down to a normal 27-inch width.
Right. Are we seeing more murals? Is there a trend in the marketplace, Mark, for murals and ombres?
Yeah, murals and ombres are kind of a hot trend item at this point. You see really large scale wallpaper out there at this time. It's wallpaper is kind of making a resurgence over the last few years. It used to be you just couldn't have enough wallpaper in a line back in the 80s and 90s. It was a very hot commodity. We still don't see a lot of borders, wainscoting type wallpapers right now, but we are seeing murals, ombres, as I said, large scale florals, geometrics. So it is something that is trending.
Good.
Yeah. As opposed to traditional murals, it seems more like you were saying, large scale prints
Mhm.
on walls. Yeah.
Is there a typical design motif that you're seeing or we're seeing in the marketplace typically that people are doing when they're doing murals? Or is it just all across the board?
It's all across yeah, it's kind of everything.
Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions coming through. So as promised, thank you again for sticking around until the end. And it's time for the trivia question. And bear with me, it's not a difficult one. What is the name of the program that we talked about today in our webinar? Again, what is the name of the printing program that we discussed here today on the webinar? The first 3 individuals that answer that question will receive a free ColorWorks palette, which we will print on our comb cotton sateen. Either it's a tough question today or
The answer is ColorWorks.
yeah, the answer is ColorWorks. So the first 3 people that can type ColorWorks, we will send you one at no charge that you can start using in your ColorWorks designs. All right. Okay, well, as we conclude today's webinar, I'd like to remind you that in addition to the ColorWorks print program, we offer an extensive product line of decorative fabrics, trims. We have a national workroom. We can fabricate custom window treatments from draperies to pillows to bedspreads to cornices, shades. So for your next project, please consider us. We would love to have that opportunity to quote and work on your project. If there's any questions about the ColorWorks program today, feel free. You can email me at heathwatson@rmcoco.com. Again, Heath Watson, Heath Watson, all together at rmcoco.com, or reach out to your local rep and they'll be happy to help you with any questions you have about the ColorWorks program. So again, thank you for joining us today and we look forward to working with you on your next project. Everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.